So good afternoon, everybody. So this is a recorded discussion for our lesson on the communication process. So the term communication is derived from the Latin word communis, which means common. So there is a common knowledge or common information or common understanding regarding a particular subject matter. So in general, communication refers to the reciprocal exchange of information, ideas, facts, opinion, beliefs, feelings, and attitudes through verbal or nonverbal means between two people or within a group of people. So the easiest way to understand communication is there is an imparting of information, there is a receiving of information, so there is an exchange of information. We are giving or transmitting an information to someone or to a group of people, and in return we are also receiving information. So communication may be done through talking, writing, listening, reading, and so on. Okay, so we have here various definitions of communication. So the first one is according to Webster's dictionary. So it says communication is a process by which information is exchanged between individuals through a common system of symbols and signs of behavior. So take note, class, according to Webster's dictionary, that it is a process wherein there is an exchange of information between individuals through a common system of symbols and signs of behavior. So there is a common system, or in other words, we call it the communication systems. So under the communication systems, we have the verbal, the nonverbal, and the visual. So rather than choosing among these communication systems, we are applying all of this for us to be able to communicate properly and to properly express ourselves and our ideas. So when we say language, okay, it is defined as the system of symbol, gestures, and words in order for us to communicate meaning. So for us to be able to communicate meaning, we are using language. Pag sinabi pa natin language, this is not focused on the dialect, the kind of language or medium that we use to communicate. Hindi lang siya on words and verbal mode of delivery. Okay, pag sinabi nating language, it is a system of symbols, words, and gestures. Pati yung mga non-verbal cues natin, yung mga gestures natin, these are all under language, which is the system of symbol, gestures, and so on. So according to Robert Anderson, communication is the interchange of thoughts, opinion, or information by speech, writing, or signs. So according to Anderson, okay, so there is an exchange of opinion, information, and so on. And this is done through writing, through speaking, or through the usage of signs. So we have here further definitions of communication. So it is a process through which individuals mutually exchange their ideas, thoughts, feelings, and actions with one or more people. So it may be with your classmates, with your friends, your families, and so on. So it is an exchange of ideas and thoughts with one or more people. So another is that it is a transfer of information from the sender to the receiver so that it is understood in the right context. So the scholars, our language experts or communication experts, they have postulated communication models for us to understand the social processes of the communication process. So they have crafted these models para mas madali nating maintindihan kung paano ba ang process ng communication. So we have the sender. Okay, pag sinabi nating sender, this is also our speaker, or this is the individual or the person kung kanino nag-originate or kung kanino nagmula yung information, at siya din yung may initiation sa conversation or dialogue na iyon. So we also have the receiver. Siya naman po ang intended or target recipient ng ating message. So this is the transfer of information from the sender to the receiver. So for example, ako yung sender as your teacher. So I am discussing about the meaning of communication and so on. And you are my receivers. You are my target recipients para malaman ninyo kung ano ba ang ibig sabihin ng communication. So in a communication class, meron po tayong source ng message, and that is our sender. At meron din po tayong recipient ng message, and that is our receiver. So moving on, communication is the process of initiating, transmitting, and receiving information. So if you have observed, paulit-ulit lang ang meaning ng communication. Yung iba is specified, yung iba naman as simple as it is, yung iba naman sobrang general. However, you will always encounter na kapag sinabi nating communication, this is the exchange of information. So an individual is imparting an information, or an individual is receiving an information. So if we are providing an information, okay, we are also receiving an information. So, merong exchange ng information. So, that is the easiest way to understand what communication means. So, communication is the means of making the transfer of information productive and goal-oriented. So, there is a reason why we are communicating. Meron tayong intended reason or purpose kung bakit tayo nakikipag-communicate or nagre-relay or tumatanggap ng information. So, the last one is that communication is the process of sharing ideas, information, and attitudes between individuals. So take note, class, that language is considered as the principal method of communication. So it is delivered through speech, through writing, and gestures. Gaya ng nabanggit ko a while ago, pag sinabi nating language, this is the system of symbols, gestures, and words. And we are using language for us to be able to communicate properly and appropriately. So we are using language to communicate. So we also have here the importance of the communication process. So we will discuss kung bakit nga ba importante siya sa buhay natin as individuals, kung bakit siya importante in our everyday lives, in the relationship with our families and friends, and so on. Okay, so we have here the importance of communication in the organization or in the workplace. So communication plays a very important role in the management of any organization, as it is a tool for sharing thoughts, ideas, opinion, and plans in various parts of an organization or in a workplace. Good communication is required not only in building relationships but also for a successful business. That is why communication is having tremendous importance in the organization. Communication helps to increase efficiency at the workplace. So the first importance of communication in an organization or in a work environment is that we are using communication to interact with our colleagues, to interact with our bosses. So this is what we use in order for us to express our ideas. Kung meron man tayong mga maisasuggest, kung meron man tayong mga i-recommend. So, we are using communication for us to present our ideas. So it also helps in the encouragement of engagement and interaction within the workplace or the work environment. And it also helps in achieving a good outcome. Of course, paano ninyo matatapos ang task ninyo kapag walang communication? Kasi hindi kayo makakapag-discuss kung ano yung mga dapat yung gawin kapag walang communication, especially in the field of business. If you're going to pitch your ideas or your product, okay, kailangan mong nakipag-communicate to discuss it properly kung kanino mo man dapat i-present yung mga ideas na yan. So, communication helps in making the work done. So, in order for you to achieve something in the workplace, of course, kailangan nating makipag-communicate. So, we are using communication in the workplace to achieve our goals. So another one is communication is also important in securing an interview. To secure yourself in the interview, you should communicate confidently and clearly. Good communication skills would help you to get selected for the job. So the ability to communicate can give assurance that one is suitable for the job. Nakikita ng employer or ng hiring staff yung capabilities mo, yung confidence mo as an applicant. So an employer will base on your capabilities to speak and to communicate para masecure sa'yo yung job or position na ina-applyan mo. Kasi usually, nagsasubmit tayo ng compilation ng ating professional correspondence, and this includes our application letter, our resumes, and so on. I-attach din natin yung mga educational attainments natin, like kapag you graduated laude or you are part of an academic distinction and so on, kapag Dean's Lister ka and so on. However, nagiging basis din ng isang company ng hiring team or employer yung ability mo to speak effectively and properly, because through an interview, which is also an example of a communication, nakikita nila kung ano man yung edge mo sa ibang applicants. So, in an interview, mas makikita ng employer or ng hiring staff kung ano ba yung level mo, your proficiency level, kung gaano ka ba kagaling at kahusay, and it is through speaking and communicating. So that is the importance of communication in securing a job and an interview. So another one, the importance of communication and the development of professionalism. So in the future, students will become professionals, and then they need to communicate effectively with their clients or colleagues. They need empathy, friendliness in their profession for interacting. In the future, students will become political, business entrepreneurs, and leaders. In all these fields, they need to communicate effectively. Part of the development of communication skills is to be a professional communicator, wherein one is expected to deliver a message in a manner which will be easier to understand. So, in order for you to develop professionalism, okay, you should be skilled and capable when it comes to communicating, when it comes to speaking, and when it comes to talking. So communication is important in the development of one's professionalism. Makikita ng isang tao that you are very professional, that you are very well-mannered, that you have a good posture, you have the credibility, and so on, if you are able to communicate effectively and properly. So that is the importance of communication in the development of one's professionalism.